We're on the road, getting back to a sense of normalcy. We've got to do that. And a big part of doing that is staying busy. That's what I'm doing. My wife is doing the same thing. And I don't know how normal what we're getting ready to do today is going to be, but I want to take you guys along for this little adventure. Not exactly sure what I'm going to title this video, but I'm thinking it's going to be along the lines of, somewhere along the lines of, something from prison that I never thought that I would see again. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. I want to share something with you guys real quick. Some papers. Just looks like some ordinary papers. And they are. Except they're not. Folks, what you're looking at right here are 4 pages of a book that I've actually began to write. It's something that I've found myself doing more so lately, trying to keep myself busy, keep my mind occupied. And I've titled this thus far, I don't know if you guys can see that, you probably can't, After Prison Show, My Craziest Illustrated Prison Stories. There's a book that I read while in prison. It's called I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. It's written by a guy named Tucker Max, or Max Tucker. And it's like a men's storybook. And it's funny. It was entertaining. It was something to read while locked up. Well, I kind of want to use that model for this book. This book, or these 4 pages of this book thus far, are going to be just that. My craziest illustrated prison stories. A lot of prison stories that I've shared with you guys, some that I still have not. There was a blog that I had created while I was in prison. It was basically the very beginning of After Prison Show, before After Prison Show was After Prison Show. Take a shot for every time I say After Prison Show. But back then it was called Joe Writes His Wrongs. Because back then, that's all I was trying to do. Joe writing his wrongs. I thought it was kind of catchy, actually. But yeah, I'm writing a book. I thought about doing a cartoon comic book with all of my prison cartoons in it. Maybe a coloring book, an After Prison Show coloring book. There's also an After Prison Show cookbook that I'd like to get up this year. I've talked about that a couple of times in the past. Never got around to doing that. But folks, oh God, there goes all of my phones. Folks, we are 4 pages deep into the manuscript. And I don't know if you can see that collared shirt that I'm wearing underneath this nice jacket, but I'm feeling sort of like an author. And not only am I feeling like an author, I'm also feeling like a little bit of an investigative reporter today. And the reason for that is a lot to do with where we're going. It's only Cody and I. Shout out to Cody. But we're going to Suffolk. And on the way to Suffolk, we're going to stop by the P.O. Box. I don't know.
It's going to be a lot of mail.
Cody says it's going to be a lot of mail. It is going to be a lot of mail. And I don't know if it's... I mean, it is what it is. There's going to be baby stuff in there. And I greatly appreciate whoever sent that. And we'll hold it. We won't get rid of it. We will keep it. Dave actually brought it up to me this morning. He said, Joe, you should let me go to the P.O. Box today, because there's probably things in there that you're not going to want to see. And that's probably kind of true, but I'm moving on. And my wife is too. We're trying to move on. Crazy to think that we're still not even out of the woods yet, but we are trying to move on. We're going to stop at the P.O. Box because that's on the way going to Suffolk. Now, there's 2 very important things out in Suffolk. I hope we get a chance to see both. The first is Western Tidewater Regional Jail, the jail that I began my 7-year prison sentence in. Spent 25 months in this jail. A jail where I spent the first year so depressed, so miserable, and lost. But also a jail where I first began drawing my cartoons. And those cartoons gave me a lot of hope while locked up. And I've said this many times before, and I'm going to say this again, not only in terms of dealing with being locked up, but hope is probably the most important thing that you need, especially during when you're incarcerated, but in life in general. Me and my wife are dealing with a horrible situation right now. But you know what? We've got hope. Didn't seem that way last Thursday, but we're starting to realize that we do again. I hope we get to drive by there, but I don't know where it is in relation to where we're really going, which is to the Suffolk Public Library, because it's in this Suffolk Public Library where there's something that I haven't seen since prison that I never thought that I would see again. Uh-oh, we got some keys. A key. So we just came here not too long ago. Oh my God. Would you look at that?
Oh my God, there's a big one.
I hope this is not all baby stuff. Because that was it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure, oh my God.
Is it heavy? God bless it. What is that, a brick?
I'm pretty sure we have mail in there. Because last time we couldn't get it because it was overfilled. And I think they just started putting new stuff in there because it was empty.
I'm glad they upgraded our
we
box.
took the letter out so they didn't know it was overfilled.
Got it all? You got all? Can you carry all that? You got a card for Danny. Card for Danny. This says After Prison Show, pretty big on it. After Prison Show. After Prison Show. After Prison Show from Germany. Rosita. That's pretty nice. Wow, this is a Christmas card in a bag. Oh, it's for Danny. I didn't mean to do that. Is this for Danny too? I don't know what this little thing is. Ooh, $20. I sadly couldn't donate to the GoFundMe that Joe made for you, so I decided to send you some money via mail. It's not much, but I hope it helps. Good luck for the future. Well, thank you, Rosita. I'll make sure Danny gets that. You sent this from Germany. How did you get a $20? How did you get a US 20? There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. If this is for Danny, I'm just not gonna read it. And it's for Danny. See, I usually try not to open Danny's mail, but it just says After Prison Show. If you guys want to send stuff to somebody specifically on After Prison Show, please put After Prison Show and that person's name. That way I won't open it and they'll get that. Let's see what else we got. This one is from Darlene. Says After Prison Show. Boy, you sent a check. 50. I don't know if I should show it. $50. For Joe Guerrero, thank you. For the After Prison Show Fund. Joe, this is the third letter I've written you. The first two were lengthy and I ended up throwing them away, and I thought you may think they were stupid. No. I was viewing your show today once again. I was compelled to write you. First off, congrats to your wife and you on the pregnancy. Well, thank you, Darlene. I will read the rest of this later. Another check? What's going on with all these checks? Boy, and you know what? Let me put this out there. Dave wanted to come to the P.O. box today. Hey, so what was in the P.O.? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
It was like one letter. I don't know what happened to the rest of them.
Holy moly, somebody sent $150. Man, that's awesome. Shout out to Greg. I think I read the Facebook message where he said that he was gonna send this, and he actually put what the check is for. It says first quarter 2019 Patreon. Man, special shout out to you, Greg. Per my email, take care, Greg. It wasn't a Facebook message, it was an email. Greg Ward sent his card as well. He's a mentor. What we do for ourselves dies with us. What we do for others and the world remains and is immortal. It's pretty powerful. Angie. See, now this one says Joe Guerrero, Danny. So I'm not gonna open that one. I'll make sure that he gets that one. And this one is from Mexaline, After Prison Show, Danny. Thank you guys so much for sending those things. I bet there's some really awesome things in these packages as well. And if you guys want to see us do more mail time videos, let us know. I got no problem doing that. You guys definitely deserve all the credit in the world for sending us the cool things that you do. Welcome to downtown Suffolk, the land of opportunity. And also quite a bit of craziness that takes place down here as well. I spent 25 months in the jail that is for this city. It's actually a regional jail, which means that they got multiple different jurisdictions, whatever the word is, jurisdictions. There goes a copper right there. I spent 25 months in the jail that is for this city right here. And we are in a pretty bad part of this city. This is downtown Suffolk. There's a lot of crazy stuff that takes place down here. A lot of robberies, a lot of gang activity, a lot of violence, a lot of drugs. And you know what? There's a house for sale right there, Cody. Me and my wife are looking for a house. What do you think? That might be the one. The last time we came down here, Cody and I did, we were paying off my fine so that I could get my driver's license. Somebody was driving down the street, ran over a soda bottle, and it sounded like a gunshot. This building right here is where I got sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for nonviolent drug offenses. And this box right here contains all of the money that they fined me to because of those charges. I'm really curious to know how they're going to react inside of this building. I walked in with a fistful of cash, and I walk out with papers. But the most important paper that I walked out of there with is this one right here. Can you read that? That says paid in full. Now here's the crazy thing about this entire situation. One, I realized that was a mistake. Walking in there with that much cash, not only did they have to count every single bill by hand, they also had to take one of them markers to every single bill as well. Oh! So let me tell you guys what we're going to do. I'm sure you've been waiting for a little while to hear about that. We're gonna go find something, or attempt to find something that I haven't seen since prison, and what that is has a lot to do with the book, the cartoons, and everything. While I was writing the book, I wanted to include the very first cartoon that I ever created while locked up. The problem with that is, though, there's no way I'll ever have access to that, because I first started drawing cartoons while I was sitting in isolation where I didn't have paper. I was literally writing with a safety pen, a flex pen, on toilet paper. You ever tried to write a letter on toilet paper? You ever tried to draw on toilet paper? It's not very easy. So the first cartoons that I was creating were legitimately drawn on toilet paper. While I was thinking about the first cartoon that I could feature in the book, one of the very first cartoons that I ever created, I was reminded of a cartoon that I submitted to a newspaper, a local newspaper to this city. And back during this time, as I was getting into cartooning, I was sending cartoons everywhere, to prison publications and newsletters, to all sorts of magazines. I think my big idea was trying to get into Playboy. I wanted to create Playboy style cartoons. This particular cartoon that we're looking for was featured in a newspaper in this city. Now, back when I submitted this cartoon, it was in relation to a big event that was taking place, the BP oil spill. This was somewhere around May or April of 2010, and if I can remember correctly, I think it happened like really close to April 20th, 4/20, a pretty crazy day. A lot of crazy things take place on 4/20. Hitler's birthday, Columbine, and the BP oil spill was somewhere around that time as well. A lot of bad things. I don't think there's anything good that's related to 4/20. And I know what you're thinking. That's not good either. But anyways, I submitted this cartoon, and it was one of many that I submitted to this newspaper. This one was about the BP oil spill. And I would always say, hey, I'm a guy who's locked up. I've made a lot of mistakes, but it's through cartooning that I am going to change my entire life. Well, cartooning was giving me hope while I was locked up, something that I didn't have very much of at all. And I said, feel free to use my cartoon in your publication, in your newspaper, if you'd like to. And you ain't even got to send me $20 for commissary. You ain't got to put no money on my books. But what I would ask that you please do is, if you do use my cartoon, could you please just send me an issue of the newspaper? I would never receive an issue of the newspaper, and they would use my cartoon. Crazy enough how I found out that they did. But I need to say this as well, because just telling you guys this, it makes me think maybe they did try to send me the newspaper, and maybe there's the library right chair. There it is, the library. Maybe they did send it to me and it just wasn't delivered to me. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's crazy because there was a guy who was in the housing unit who got a subscription to this newspaper. And I've already talked about what newspapers are like in jails and prison. Guys value everything. They cherish it. They hold it to their chest real tight, and they do not like letting you borrow it. I mean, they might let you borrow it, but you ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna give you nothing. And the guy who got this subscription didn't even know me. But obviously he knew my last name. He came up to me, he says, "Hey, what's your last name?" Why? Are you trying to jump on my case? Are you trying to be another jailhouse snitch like there's just so many of in this jail? He said, "Your last name's Guerrero, ain't it?" Wow, you already know too much about me. "Yeah, that's my last name." He says, "Is this your cartoon right here?" And I'll be damned if it wasn't. It was the craziest thing in the world. It was the first time I was ever seeing something that I had created published. And I haven't seen this since I was locked up. I never thought that I would see this again. But again, I got on my investigative discovery thinking cap. And I thought to myself, I said, well, what if we called a library? Maybe they have archived copies of this newspaper. Called this library right behind me, they do. And supposedly, there's a good chance that they might have this particular issue archived. And we might actually get to see. You guys will see it for the first time, and I'll be seeing it for the first time since I created it. One of the very first cartoons that I created while I was locked up. You think we're gonna be able to film in here?
Maybe not walking in, but when we get to it, I don't think it'll be an issue.
All right, well, we're gonna try anyways, because that's where we're at. Sir, you can't have a camera in here. Woo, you know who I am. I'm the Tom Cruise of the internet. All right, just follow my lead, Cody. You ready? I had called up here the other day about looking at archived copies of the Suffolk News Herald. I don't know who I spoke with, but I was wondering if I was able to look at those.
Talking about the microphone?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah. And I'm looking, if it's possible, I'm looking for somewhere around April or May of 2010.
What we do, we just open up the cabinet and you kind of...
Oh, perfect. Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Wrong key?
Yep.
That was a long walk.
I'll be right back.
This looks like it's going to be quite a lot to look through. Oh, wait. Maybe it's only the top drawer or something.
Okay. Basically, just go through. Then, listed, a few of them don't have the dates on them.
Okay.
But majority of them have the dates on. And do you know where our microfilm machine is?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, once you come around the corner, I'll see that you're ready. I should be right there.
Thank you very much. Yeah. All right, so we're looking for, wow, these go.
This is 98.
Okay, 90.
That's 84.
Up to 97. This goes to 2003. And this one goes to, oh, I guess they go back in date. Good Lord. I think she said these things go back to like 1903. All right, here we go. October through December, July, April through June. It's got to be right in here. This has got to be it. This has got to be it. Gathering evidence, folks. We're gathering the evidence. I almost feel like we're on that TV show, The First 48. All right, so.
It tells you right here. Just, we're running out.
I honestly thought it was going to be a lot faster than this. And I would hate to think that we've passed it. I feel like I'm going to know it when I see it, though. Holy crap.
Is that it?
That's another one that I never even saw. Look at this. I never even saw this one.
Is that yours?
Yeah, that's my name right there. You can barely see it right there on the side.
gotta be a way to capture, screen capture these.
Yo, that's crazy. See, this isn't even the one that I was looking for. So, and I told you I was sending a bunch of these in there. And that was just a lucky stop, man, because that's not what I was looking for.
So it has to be around here then, because they got one of your cartoons.
It's gonna be one that's sort of similar to like how he's sitting at the desk. It's gonna be a couple of people though. We gotta go talk to these people. Be like, so, did you ever try to send that to me? Bingo, there it is. Just like that. There it is. Now what's interesting about this is it says the Suffolk News Herald. Oh, so I didn't know what I was putting. So I got this BP oil representative sitting next to Superman. It says this guy is pretty much our last resort. But if he can't stop it, we're prepared to fire up the bat signal next. Oh, that's so funny. Joepguerrero. 2010. Unbelievable. Look at my little Superman dude. And then this guy.
So you can zoom out by pressing the little minus if you want. There you go.
You can't tell the time.
Fancy.
Kind of like we know what we're doing with it. Which one was that one? Ma'am, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we are leaving from the library right now. Shout out to the nice folks who work at the library. Library's pretty popping right now. I mean, we had a little blood dude sitting on top of the file cabinet when we went back to put the film back. They was posted up in there. They were deep too. There was like 4 or 5 of them little dudes in there. The youngins out here are crazy. But shout out to them. They're in the library, so that's good. But it is a pretty crazy little area out here. We accomplished what we came out here for, and I'm really happy that we did. I was almost thinking as we were scrolling through all of that stuff, and we did it for probably, I don't know, 30 minutes, that we weren't gonna find it. Maybe they had taken it out, maybe, hell, I don't know. But not only did we find what we came here for, and we got it on file, we found another cartoon that I had submitted that they had just used, and screw that guy, he's locked up, who cares? And folks owe me about $40 in commissary. So go ahead and throw that out there. I'm glad that we got both of those, because I want to include those in this little cartoon comic book that I'm creating, these illustrated crazy prison stories book, because these were some of the first cartoons that I was creating. They're horrible. They're not that good. And they all pertained to that BP oil spill. And you know, it's kind of crazy to throw this in here as well. I was thinking about it before even filming the video, but you know, you think about clout chasing. I was doing that while locked up. Clout chasing off that BP oil spill. I got a little clout. Got 2 things published in a newspaper while I was sitting in a jail cell. But it is what it is. I'm glad that we got those. I thought that those were gone forever. And, you know, it's crazy seeing these and thinking about where I was when I created these and where I was in life. Because during that time, I was just getting ready to start my 7 years. And that's crazy.